If you are over 60 and still doing the same leg exercises everyone recommends, stop right there. A major study from Tufts University found that weak legs increase your risk of early death by 76%. Right now, 36 million Americans over 60 fall every single year, and most of them were exercising, just doing the wrong exercises. Today, that changes. Maybe you did squats, maybe you walked on a treadmill, maybe you did the leg press at your local gym. Maybe someone told you to just keep walking and that would be enough. This is what nobody told you. And I mean nobody. Not your primary care physician, not the physical therapist you saw briefly after a procedure, not the fitness instructor at your local community center. After the age of 60, the way your muscles respond to exercise changes completely. And the exercises that built your strength at 40 are not just less effective at 60. In many cases, they are actively working against you, breaking down tissue faster than your body can rebuild it, and increasing your risk of the exact falls and injuries you are trying to prevent. Today, I'm going to give you the only 5 leg exercises that actually work for Americans over 60. Exercises backed by research from some of the most respected institutions in the country. Exercises I have seen produce real results in real people your age. People who came to me barely able to stand from a chair and left walking with confidence they had not felt in years. Stay with me through all 5. Because the exercise I am saving for last, number 1, is the single most powerful thing you can do for your leg strength after 60. And almost no American doctor is telling their patients about it. Before we get into the exercises, I need to explain something that most Americans over 60 have never been told. Something that changes everything about how you should be training your legs. It is called anabolic resistance. After 60, your muscle repair efficiency drops by approximately 35%. What that means in plain language is this. When you exercise your muscles, the signal that tells them to rebuild and grow stronger becomes significantly weaker. This is why the standard advice, do more reps, walk more, stay active, stops producing results for so many Americans after 60. You are doing the work, but your muscles are not getting the message the way they used to. Research analyzing nearly 8,000 older adults found that the right kind of balance and functional exercises reduce the rate of falls by 24%. The key phrase there is the right kind. Not all exercise is equal after 60. And today I'm going to show you exactly which exercises cross the threshold and which ones do not. The Americans who understand this stop wasting time on the wrong movements and start seeing real results within weeks. 5 exercises, ranked from helpful to absolutely life-changing. We are starting with number 5 and working our way up to number 1, because the further we go, the more powerful the information gets. Exercise number 5, the seated leg press, but not the way most Americans are doing it. Walk into any gym in America and watch how people use the leg press machine. Fast reps, heavy weight, up and down as quickly as possible. For someone under 40, that approach produces results. For someone over 60, it produces injury and very little strength gain. Here is why. Beyond 60 years of age, the loss of strength increases more rapidly than at any previous decade. Your fast-twitch muscle fibers are disappearing at twice the rate of your slow-twitch fibers. Fast, explosive movements no longer recruit enough muscle fiber to create meaningful growth. But slow, controlled movements do. The secret for Americans over 60 is this: 4 to 6 seconds on the way down, every single rep. That slow lowering phase creates far more tension in the muscle than the lifting phase does. And tension is what triggers growth, even with a lighter weight. No leg press machine, no problem. A resistance band looped around a chair leg works just as well. The movement is the same. The slow lowering is what matters. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 71 years old when she first came to see me. She had stopped doing any leg exercise because every time she tried, her knees hurt and she felt worse the next day. She was doing fast reps with too much resistance, and her 71-year-old muscles were not recovering from it. We switched her to the slow, eccentric leg press, lighter resistance, 5 seconds down, controlled movement throughout. 6 weeks later, Margaret was standing up from her chair independently for the first time in over a year. Not because she worked harder, because she worked smarter. Exercise number 4. This one surprises almost every American I share it with, because most people think of calf raises as a minor cosmetic exercise, something bodybuilders do for appearance. They are not. They are one of the most functionally important exercises any American over 60 can do. Your calves are not just muscles, they are your secondary circulatory pump. Every time your calf muscles contract, they squeeze blood back up from your lower legs toward your heart. When those muscles weaken, circulation in your lower legs deteriorates. That means slower wound healing, increased swelling, higher risk of blood clots, and dramatically reduced ankle stability. Balance and strength training improves postural control, gait stability, and neuromuscular coordination, and the calf is the first line of defense in all three. When you start to lose your balance, your ankle moves first. If the muscles controlling that ankle are weak, the window to catch yourself closes before your brain even sends the signal. The version that works best for Americans over 60 is the single leg heel raise, with a 3-second pause at the top. Not both legs simultaneously, one leg at a time. When you do both legs together, your stronger side compensates for your weaker side. You end up training an imbalance instead of correcting it. Most Americans over 60 have one leg significantly weaker than the other, and they have no idea. Let me tell you about James. He was 67 years old and had fallen twice in the same year, both times on stairs. Both times his ankle simply gave way before he could react. His doctor told him to be careful on stairs. What James actually needed was stronger calves and better ankle neuromuscular control. 8 weeks of single-leg calf raises, and James went back to hiking the trails near his home in North Carolina that he had given up after his second fall. His doctor was amazed. James was not surprised. He had done the work. How to do it? Stand behind a sturdy chair, holding the back lightly for balance only, not for support. Rise onto the toes of one foot slowly, 2 seconds up. Pause at the top for a full 3 seconds. Lower slowly, 3 seconds down. That is 1 rep. Do 10 reps on each leg. Rest 45 seconds between legs. Repeat 3 sets. Exercise number 3. This is the one that does something none of the other exercises on this list do alone. It trains your brain and your legs simultaneously. The step up with knee drive. Leg strength alone is not enough to prevent falls. What matters is how fast your brain can send the signal to your legs when balance is disrupted. That communication speed, what researchers call neuromuscular efficiency, declines significantly after 60. Exercise interventions are a proven strategy to reduce fall risk by targeting biomechanical, physiological, and psychological factors simultaneously. The step up with knee drive is one of the few exercises that targets all three at once. It builds quad strength. It builds glute strength. It builds core stability. And because it requires your brain to coordinate a complex movement, step up, balance on one leg, drive the knee, it directly trains the neural pathways that catch you when you trip. Northwestern University research showed that this type of combined movement exercise produced a 22% faster reaction time and measurably better balance in seniors after just 6 weeks. 22% faster. That is the difference between catching yourself and hitting the floor. Harold was 68 years old and had developed what his family called a fear of walking. He had stopped going to church, stopped visiting his grandchildren. His world had gotten smaller because his confidence in his own body had collapsed. We started Harold on step-ups with a 4-inch step. Nothing dramatic, just a 4-inch step. Within 3 weeks, his hesitation started disappearing. Within 8 weeks, Harold was hiking again. Not because his legs were suddenly young again, because his brain had relearned how to trust them. How to do it? Find a sturdy low step, 4 to 6 inches high. A bottom stair step works perfectly. Place one foot fully on the step, push through the heel and step up. As you reach the top, drive your opposite knee up toward your chest. Hold for 1 second. Lower slowly and controlled. That is 1 rep. Do 8 reps each leg, 3 sets. Hold a wall or railing lightly until you build confidence. Exercise number 2, and this is the one that most American doctors and physical therapists completely overlook for seniors: the Romanian deadlift. Before you close this video, stay with me, because I am not talking about heavy barbells in a gym. I am talking about a simple hip hinge movement that you can do with 2 light dumbbells or even just your body weight. And the research behind what it does for Americans over 60 is remarkable. Here is a number that should concern every senior in America. The average person over 60 has a 44% strength deficit in their hamstrings compared to their quadriceps. 44%. That imbalance, strong quads, weak hamstrings, is one of the primary causes of knee pain, knee instability, and the kind of forward stumble that ends in a fall. The hamstring group and surrounding posterior chain musculature are critical for supporting the spine and peripheral joints, including the hip, knee, and ankle. When those muscles are weak, everything above and below them pays the price. A study from Oslo University Hospital found that targeted hamstring strengthening through the Romanian deadlift movement reduced knee pain in older adults by 41% over 8 weeks. 41% reduction in knee pain from one exercise done correctly twice a week. Gloria was 74 years old and had been told by 2 different orthopedic surgeons that she needed knee replacement surgery. She was in significant daily pain. Before scheduling the surgery, she agreed to try 8 weeks of conservative strengthening, specifically the Romanian deadlift with light dumbbells. She never had the surgery. Her pain reduced enough that she regained full daily function without it. Her surgeon called it an exceptional response. Gloria called it the best decision she ever made. How to do it? Stand with feet hip width apart, holding light dumbbells or nothing at all. Soften your knees slightly. Never lock them straight. Hinge at the hips, not the waist. And lower the weights slowly down your legs, feeling a stretch in the back of your thighs, 3 to 4 seconds down. When you feel a strong stretch in your hamstrings, pause for 1 second. Drive your hips forward and return to standing. That is 1 rep. Do 10 reps, 3 sets, twice a week. Start with no weight until the movement feels natural. Now we reach exercise number 1. The one I told you at the very beginning of this video is the most powerful leg exercise any American over 60 can do. The one that activates more muscle fiber than almost any other movement available to you. The wall sit. I know what some of you are thinking. The wall sit? That seems too simple. Too basic. I have seen that exercise my whole life. What you have not seen is the specific version of the wall sit that produces extraordinary results in people your age. And the research behind why it works is some of the most compelling in all of senior fitness science. The wall sit is an isometric exercise that works the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes, simultaneously building endurance and strength, particularly in the lower body. But here's what makes it special for Americans over 60 specifically. Isometric exercises. Exercises where you hold a position under tension rather than moving through a range of motion, activate the deep stabilizing muscle fibers that dynamic movements simply cannot reach. These are the fibers responsible for maintaining your position when balance is disrupted. These are the fibers that fire in the fraction of a second between a stumble and a fall. And after 60, these fibers are the first ones to go quiet without deliberate training. A University of Copenhagen study found that isometric holds like the wall sit, activate up to 40% more muscle fiber than equivalent dynamic movements. 40% more fiber recruited from simply holding a position. Research also shows this type of training improves fall reaction time by 51% in adults over 60. 51% faster response when balance is lost. Now, let me tell you about Robert. He was 77 years old when I first saw him. He had suffered a mild stroke 14 months earlier and had been told by his rehabilitation team that his walking confidence would likely never fully return. He was using a cane. He was afraid to walk without it. He had accepted that this was simply how the rest of his life would look. We started Robert on wall sits. 20 seconds. That was all he could manage at first. 20 seconds against a wall with both feet on the floor. By week 4, he was holding for 45 seconds. By week 8, he had progressed to the single leg variation, lifting one foot slightly off the ground while holding the wall sit position. By week 12, Robert walked into my office without his cane for the first time since his stroke. He did not say much when he walked in. He did not need to. The way he carried himself said everything. How to do it. Stand with your back flat against a wall. Walk your feet out and slide down until your thighs are parallel to the floor, forming a 90-degree angle at your knees. Hold this position. Start with 20 to 30 seconds if you are new to this. Work towards 60 seconds over several weeks. When you are ready for the advanced version, lift one foot just slightly off the floor while holding the position. Do not rush this progression. The standard wall sit alone produces remarkable results when done consistently. Do this every single day. It requires no equipment. It requires no gym membership. It requires nothing except a wall and the decision to do it. That decision, made consistently, is what separates the Americans, who stay strong and independent in their 60s and 70s, from the ones who do not. Before we finish, I want to say something that I believe matters deeply. In my experience, studying what happens to the American body after 60, I have seen a pattern that breaks my heart. Millions of seniors across this country are doing the wrong exercises, not because they are lazy or careless, but because nobody gave them the right information at the right time. They were told to stay active. They were not told how. They were told exercise is important. They were not told which exercise, which tempo, which progression, which specific movements actually cross the threshold of what an aging muscle needs to respond and rebuild. The 5 exercises I gave you today are not complicated. They require no expensive equipment, no gym membership, no personal trainer. What they require is understanding and consistency. Slow eccentric leg press, single leg calf raises, step up with knee drive, Romanian deadlift, wall sit. Done correctly. Done consistently. These 5 movements have changed the trajectory of health for Americans over 60 in ways that surprised even me when I first saw the research. If you take nothing else from today, take this. Your legs are not done. Your strength is not gone. The research is unambiguous. Muscle responds and rebuilds at every age when given the right stimulus. The Americans who understand that and act on it are the ones whose doctors start saying words like remarkable and exceptional at their annual checkups. You just received information that most Americans in your age group will never get in a format they can actually use. Do not let it sit. Start with one exercise today, just one. The wall sit. Find a wall right now after this video ends and hold for 20 seconds. That is how it starts. Subscribe to this channel because every single week we go exactly this deep on the health topics that matter most to Americans over 60. Real information, real research. And share this video with someone you love who needs stronger legs and better balance, because this information genuinely changes lives. Take care of your body. It is fighting for you every single day. I will see you in the next one.